Today, we are going to learn about the breathing system, one of the most important systems in our body. Every living human being needs oxygen to live. From the moment we take our first breath after birth until the last breath, our body keeps taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. This process of taking in oxygen and removing carbon dioxide is called breathing. We do not think about breathing, it happens automatically, but it is happening all the time. Our breathing system is made up of several important parts. First, we have the nose and nasal cavity. When we breathe in, air enters through our nose. The inside of the nose has tiny hairs and mucus which help to filter, warm, and clean the air. The air then moves down a tube called the windpipe or trachea. The trachea is like a long pipe that carries air into the lungs. The trachea divides into two smaller tubes called bronchi. One bronchus goes into the right lung and the other goes into the left lung. Inside the lungs, the bronchi further divide into even smaller tubes called bronchioles. At the end of these tubes are tiny air-filled sacs called alveoli. There are millions of alveoli in our lungs, and they play a very important role. The walls of the alveoli are very thin and are surrounded by tiny blood vessels called capillaries. This is where the exchange of gases happens. Oxygen from the air passes through the alveoli walls into the blood, and carbon dioxide from the blood passes into the alveoli to be breathed out. This process is called gas exchange. Now, let's understand how breathing actually happens. Breathing includes two main steps, inhalation and exhalation. When you inhale, the diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle under your lungs, moves downward and the ribs move upward and outward. This creates more space in the chest and air rushes into the lungs. Inhalation brings fresh air full of oxygen into our lungs. When you exhale, the diaphragm moves up and the ribs move inward. This reduces the space in the chest, and air full of carbon dioxide is pushed out of the lungs. Oxygen that enters the lungs goes into the blood and is carried by the red blood cells to all parts of the body. Every cell in our body needs oxygen for releasing energy from food. At the same time, carbon dioxide, a waste gas produced by cells, is carried by the blood back to the lungs to be removed. If carbon dioxide builds up, it can make us feel sick, so breathing out is just as important as breathing in. It's also important to keep our breathing system healthy. We should avoid smoking and stay away from dusty, polluted air. Eating healthy food, doing regular exercise, and keeping our surroundings clean helps our lungs work better. When we run or play, we breathe faster because our muscles need more oxygen. To summarize, the breathing system helps us take in oxygen and remove carbon dioxide. The major parts include the nose, windpipe, bronchi, lungs, and diaphragm. The tiny alveoli in the lungs are where gas exchange happens. Breathing in brings oxygen in, and breathing out removes carbon dioxide. This continuous process keeps us alive and gives energy to our body.